Was Eric the one that he assumed? No.
There's a cafe scene place today.
Is that thing charging up there?
No.
Really? Isn't it supposed to sing it? Yeah.
The cook can come in, she's hurt her leg. Mabel has vertigo, she's the waitress, so.
Please rise to pledge allegiance.
Pledge to the flag of the United States and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, we have approval of today's agenda. Make a motion for the.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, new business starting out with town ordinance 2025-09, the beautification fund creation.
An ordinance establishing the Incorporated Town of North Judson, Indiana Park Beautification Fund, ordinance number 2025-09. And I will state, monies received shall be used for the following enumerated purposes. Expense related to the beautification of the town's parks, including but not limited to art installation, signage, foliage, and other trees, park and playground equipment, festivals, and other recreational gatherings that promote community well-being and camaraderie, and the erection and maintenance of park buildings and structures. Pretty wide open. So I'll leave that to you guys if you would like to adopt that ordinance on the first reading in order to get that transferred over for the year end is our goal.
Make a motion that we adopt town ordinance 2025-09.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay. Very good.
Okay, moving on. Town ordinance 2025-10, this is additional appropriation for the parent adoption.
Additional appropriation ordinance number 2025-010. And additional appropriations, whereas it has been determined that it is now necessary to appropriate more money than was originally appropriated in the annual budget. So we'll need to open the public hearing.
Make a motion, we open the public hearing.
I second it.
All those in favor? All those in favor?
Yeah. You don't need to approve this, is that what you're saying? Approval of the.
Well, we'll open the public hearing. No comment.
Close public hearing.
Close the public
Oh, I'm
hearing.
sorry, he made a motion, open the public hearing. That's.
Yeah.
I apologize.
No worries.
All in favor?
Sorry,
buddy, I'm still sitting on the. You gotta smack me and say, hey, say this, I'm due for it, yeah.
All right.
Okay, now we can,
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
we gotta approve this first, right?
Yeah, we can approve it after.
Okay. I got a second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
And now we can just read it by title. So this is Community Capital Development Fund, $150 out of its capital expenses. Small amount. So for the adoption, I'll leave it to you.
Make a motion that we adopt town ordinance 2025-10.
Second it.
all in favor?
Aye. Right.
Right. That's right on the left. Okay,
And if we want to pause there, we can get Nicole out of here. So part of our year-end billing financials and reporting, we've got an updated agreement with Baker Tilly in our packet here. And it starts with this page, right? It's not in your packet, it's on your iPad, but I think I have an extra copy or two. Nothing changing, but for our Nicole, I can let you touch on some of the highlights.
Yep. So first things first, congratulations to the town for getting their levy appeal approved. That's excellent news for the town. Nice little extra cash within the last year that it's offered through Indiana. So that's amazing. The contract in front of you, like Andrew stated, there's no changes to the scope. So we're still going to be doing the same exact work. And the only changes are we're slightly reducing the hours just because this 2025 was the first year we did that larger report. So there was a little bit more effort into creating that report for the first time. But going forward, since everything that we're doing is just recurring reports, we expect to be a little bit more efficient for 2026. But on top of that, there's been other firm-wide increases. Obviously, our BT Plus clients do get that blended rate. So the increases are not as blunt for the BT Plus clients, which is great. But it did slightly increase. So the previous or 2025's monthly amount was $37.50. The 2026 proposed amount is $3,900 even. And the hours bumped from 180 in 2025 down to 175. So if for some reason in 2026 we are even more efficient than what we anticipated in guesstimating these hours, it could be a scenario where we are reducing the last few months fees of the year to make sure that you're only paying for what you're spending as far as the hours go.
And we've needed additionals the last 8 years, and this year it's simply $150. So there's even less there. If I'm more on the ball next year, then we won't even have to do things like additional appropriations where, that's got analysis on Nicole's side,
Right.
extra work on there, talking about the publication and the documentation around the public hearing. Fewer hours, fewer dollars. So
I have a question. Do we know where you're
Yep.
at this year, for this year?
This year we were over by about 5 hours, so 185. And that has a lot to do with SCA 1. We were trying to figure that out for a lot of our clients. There was a lot of confusion around that. And then on top of that, the levy appeal. So that was, even though we anticipated that the town would be eligible for it, we didn't want to build it into the hours just because if you weren't eligible for it, then you would be paying for those extra hours that we wouldn't actually be working on the application. So those two things paired with each other only got us over the initial estimate of 5 hours.
Okay, so last question, and please don't take offense to this. Are we saving money by looking at you on the screen versus you driving here?
Yeah. So
Okay.
with,
So I
even
think
with
that's
our
pretty-
BT, even with our BT Plus clients, we do charge extra for mileage. That's just a thing that we do for all of our clients. So by being virtual, I am saving that mileage amount that would be showing up on your monthly invoice on top of the monthly amount. But this time now is included in the annual hours virtually.
This time now, you're saying? This
Yes.
time you're
And like,
on here.
yes. And in the contract for 2026, 2 meetings are baked into the contract already. So even the mileage that I would spend on those 2 meetings is already baked in.
Just curious.
Yep.
I saw it on the invoice when I looked through it and I thought, well, she can Zoom now. Why would we pay her to come here, for
Yeah.
whatever it was, you know what I mean? If it's 5 times a year, 3 times a year, whatever it is.
Right. No, I
Every
understand
dollar
completely.
counts. Every dollar counts for a small community. So yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I just look for approval of that agreement.
The agreement with,
Baker Tilly.
motion to approve the, agreement with Baker Tilly.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You want me to sign this, Andrew, or what?
Yeah.
Services, scope appendix agreed upon by the client.
Nicole, is there anything else we had with you on the docket today?
Nope, I don't think so. So
I don't
I
think-
will let you guys get back to it. I hope you guys had a
That's
wonderful
right.
Christmas and have a wonderful New Year.
Thanks, Nicole.
Yep, thank you very
Bye.
much. Appreciate it. I'll send over this agreement.
Perfect. Thanks, Andrew.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks. Yep.
Moving on.
Yep.
Town ordinance 2025 11, 12, and 13. 2026 town employee ordinance. Okay, so we're doing the salary ordinance now.
Yes. I should-
Shift.
I want to go look at my computer because I usually have the form ones for what's budgeted. But like every morning coming in here, I can't go. So, let me go look.
Where's Bob at? Doesn't matter, Bob's done. Bob's
Yeah,
long
it's
gone.
HWC. And they're responsive.
They are, but they can fix the issue. Bob's always been kind of, he's a nice guy, but
Seems like once Microsoft pushed down a bunch of updates to these computers, now they're acting a little wonky.
So I believe our budget, we've built in 4%. I believe it was what I thought. Yeah. So just know that when we get to, but we don't have our full month in front of us. But across wages, 4%.
Up to 4%, right? How we're saying? 4%. Okay. Wait for him to get back in here and we'll move through this spectacular, okay, so, aside from the 4%, meaning that we would have to lower somewhere else on here, do we have a department in which we need to increase, or we think we're gonna need to increase more than 4%? So, for example, I don't know what department it was, but maybe it was, Frank,
Mhm.
more,
Yeah.
Andrew, maybe. So like every year we've had to
Right.
kind of shift our, so I don't know if I don't know if there's anywhere this year.
I don't
I was
feel like,
thinking about this, I don't know what I was thinking about last night, or before I was thinking, every year I went into this thinking, okay, we gotta do the fire department one year, we gotta,
Right.
I don't know that there's a department this year, we gotta say, oh my gosh, we're so far behind that,
no, I don't think there is. I think
which is gonna make this easier.
we,
today.
yeah, we played catch up last year, like you said, with the PD a little bit
Yep.
and the utility,
We've done the
supervisor.
utilities, well, we've done the police department a couple of times.
Yeah.
One year, then we skip a year, then we do it another year.
And that's where I think, this year, I think we can just kind of stay within our budget
Yeah.
and then make it a little easier on us. And then we can get Frank's feedback next year. We'll let him maybe do what he did last year. Reach out to some
Go ahead. Sorry.
smaller departments our size and see where they're at to make sure we're comparable.
And you have the current and the blank. Everybody should have the current and the blank for all three. So here is an issue without Eric being here on the salary ordinance for the clerk treasurer pay. We can vote on it for one first reading this time. But since John has to abstain and we need 4 votes to adopt it, we'll have to adopt it Monday night, which isn't an issue because ultimately the one that has to be approved in 2025 is the salary for the council. We can't update the salary for the council in 2026. So we're good for that one. Nobody has to abstain. We're all good. And that's the main one, the big one. But for Kara's, we're fine because Eric would abstain anyway, but since he's not here. So that's just a little caveat of Eric not being able to be here yesterday. I'm scrambling. I'm like, oh shit. But then I remembered we split them all out. So we should be okay. But
Okay, so where I was gonna go with that, Joe,
we're not over this year either on our appropriation report, which I wanted to print. We're not over on any of our wages, park, police, fire, of course. Sewer and water is what it is. And on the clerk side, nobody's over their wages. So we're not in the negative on any either.
police would be the only one that I would think.
Yeah, there's some worry there
Could be
potentially.
there.
And with, I mean, I was really surprised that with Frank doing what he did and trying to keep it locked down. I mean, even working short staffed and sending people to the academies,
Sure.
we were able to still stay in budget. So that was huge kudos to Frank.
Yeah. That's good.
Because we did have quite a bit of, we had quite a bit of overtime this year in that side of things, but we still were split. Mainly it was 3 guys. So it wasn't, they did quite a bit of work is what they did.
I would, so Joe, I would encourage, so these, we're obviously not going through every employee like we used to and say, yeah, let's give this person a raise, let's give that person a raise. With you in place, I think we've, from the way I understand this, we're allowing you to make sure that. Correct. So I would let Kim and Frank do the,
Yes.
but
And
you decide ultimately the yes or no on where these guys are in the
Yeah.
range, so.
That's why I didn't bring in. I was gonna break out everybody's name, what their current rate is and what their rate is going
Yeah,
forward.
I think we're past that.
Absolutely,
I think
yes,
except for
which is a
the
good
goal
thing.
was Because
Yeah.
before we just had department heads and we kind of
Right.
have one more set of eyes.
Yeah.
But now with,
It's pretty much Joe sits down with this list. I'll give him the list
yeah,
that I'm
and
gonna
then-
make
and they're
anyway.
Supervisors and we go through the
Exactly.
review.
And he tells me,
We go through like obviously utility supervisor's already done reviews with her staff. Just turned them into me, so I have them. Now I'm gonna sit down with her and we're gonna go through them.
Yeah.
Once the council approves, if we're doing 4%
Exactly.
across the board, okay, does this person deserve 4% or do they deserve 3% or 2% or what?
It used to be like for whatever reason, they got in this habit, of always they just got the max, whatever the
Right.
max was in that
Right.
lane, that's what they got. I'm not saying that people don't deserve that, I'm only saying that there needs to be somebody else that says, hey, you know what, don't forget about this.
Right.
Especially there being that, extra person to sometimes bring up the things that necessarily the supervisor doesn't want to talk about, or maybe doesn't want to feel comfortable with. There should be someone else that can say, okay, well, let's make sure we are getting some constructive criticism on things that they can't improve on.
Right.
No one in this entire town, including us, in my opinion, is perfect. We all have
Exactly.
flaws. We all have things we can work on for 2026. So we should all be aware of those, so, yeah. Okay, anyway, that being said, we can get started on this. So we're up first. I got my calculator out.
I'm just gonna focus on writing, filling them in.
Okay, so 4%'s the number unless we get somewhere where we need to make different adjustments.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the 5,400? 1.04. That's 5616. So what are we thinking? Just 5,600? Make a round numbers. You like
Yeah.
round numbers?
Easy
Easy,
Yep.
easy math.
You like round numbers, right, Andrew?
I do.
Okay, so we'll make
1,400 quarterly,
So 5,600 and how much quarterly?
1,400.
Okay, 1,400. Okay, yeah. Building commissioner,
57-1.
so 5,700,
720.
So just go 5,700.
make it easy.
Yep.
Right. What's that?
We can do it by 3.
1425. Every.
Yeah.
Park caretaker,
1102.
so just do 1,100. Joe, Andrew, you guys speak up if something doesn't seem right.
Sure.
Part-time park care, we need to increase that.
We may want to, because we'll have potentially somebody who will be with us a while.
Yeah.
Transitioning into that position. And that's a bit of a drop. But they will be part-time.
4% ain't gonna make much. I got 1560, so we're gonna go to 1550. From 15,
Yeah, I think that'd be all right.
1,550.
Yeah.
That next one, that's 24,550 split across the entire department, right?
Correct.
five. Or 25,550. Give them $1,000 more.
5. Makes sense.
Okay,
Fire chief would be 3,603, so you just want to do 3,600.
3,600, very good. Paid out quarterly, what is that? 800?
Yeah.
I've got it on that.
It'll be 900.
Okay, deputy clerk.
We are gonna get out of here.
Says up to 20.
That.
Yeah,
that's where it's at, though, now it's one.
Is that what she's at?
Yeah, no, she's not at that right now.
So let's just keep it.
18. Yeah.
You could, I mean, it's go $1, whatever that gives you.
Did
We
you?
don't need to change it to that.
Right. I don't think. Well, let me just.
See, on some of these hourlies out there under, because just started last whatever, but you don't have to.
And keep it.
Exactly. Unless we think there's a reason.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so there's 20. Marshall, we'll get that. He's still doing hourly?
He is. We just add that 4% to the hourly.
Take it up.
31.
Even.
Yeah. Somebody go one below it.
Do we have to keep that interim town marshal in there now? What, or
No, we don't, but then we remove stuff like that. and something
if something happens, we gotta add it?
Yeah,
Now, and one of my.
I
questions was-
don't think we need to keep it because whether it's interim or not, that person is filling that role.
Right,
You guys dictate how long they're in that
the
role.
reason that it's in there is because when we've had it in the past or someone stepped in, there was an issue with them having to work more hours,
Right.
therefore,
The reason it's hourly.
exactly.
now,
Well, no, the reason that interim's hourly, is because the last time we had this, when Doug passed away, and then work all them hours before we had a new.
Yeah, and I think the title interim is more of a, I don't know if it's worth what it is, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're doing that job though, they're doing the job.
Here's an example why you.
We don't need to get in the weeds though, but we're.
Yeah, here's why, example. Let's say Frank leaves because he goes wherever. Now Patrick's put into that interim position because now Patrick's in charge. You're the interim chief, doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna be the chief going forward. You can interview for it, but you're gonna do those duties. Well, then it gives us this flexibility to say,
Absolutely. Isn't it funny how this job has
Well,
had
the-
such turnover that we're having
Yes.
to.
The only
we gotta
reason
think
I-
better game.
Yeah.
The only reason I was thinking that is, and we might have covered this one time with Nicole, was when Baker Tilly takes our salary ordinance.
They look like every position on here is gonna be filled.
Exactly. So they go line by line by line by line by line. So even
have
though
to
we
tell
don't
them.
have an interim town marshal, they're putting in that we do have an interim town marshal that's making this much a week. So that's going towards our negative of our salaries for the year.
For 84 hours every 2 weeks.
Right.
Or 50.
That's the
60
only
pay
reason I
period.
thought,
Well, they can take it out though, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Have it in there.
we can let them know that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess we can take it out, then we just gotta go add it back.
Then we'll have to add it back.
If something
So-
happens,
So
so
if
that's
it's easier
fine.
to leave it in, then we'll just let Nicole know that position's not filled, so don't add it to the bottom line.
If it's the only one, then it'll be easy.
Yeah,
I think if you had in the minutes that they'll be facilitating the position of town marshal in an interim basis until a hire is made, then you would be okay
Mhm.
without that in there. And they're just filling that slot
Yeah.
temporarily. So chief deputy. Was it 26?
7.
Now that's something that Frank may want to try to attract to.
yeah.
So I don't know.
That,
Just
yeah,
speaking
that,
previously.
that might be something he might want to go a little higher than 27.
Times
Um,
2730 is 5% increase. If 2750 makes sense.
we don't have a.
We don't have one.
That's what I'm saying, but he's tried to attract, he's tried to, yeah, and,
Totally about this.
Yeah.
okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So 27
I
so
told him we could
27.
Adjust that number if needed, just to bring somebody, but.
And he's got a full complement now.
Yeah.
That'll work.
So 27, fair enough.
27 What I had in there.
Okay.
Deputy marshals. Oh. 21.
26 to be your high end.
So 22 to 26, make it easy.
It sort of charts with the
Yeah,
deputy.
because we can't. Yeah, since our chief deputy is 27,
Yeah.
that puts it,
They're at the max pay. I don't think these guys are at max pay, are they?
some of them are close, yeah.
Well, maybe
Yeah.
Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick, I think
But I
that,
don't think, Adam.
Adam is not, no.
David would
David-
be close.
David's gonna be close too.
Yeah, because he
With
came
his
in
prior
with experience and all that.
Part-time is 23.
Be 2392.
So we don't want to work. Town manager,
2900.
2,900. Utility supervisor.
Be 522.
25 is what I would do.
25, that's a little bit over 4%.
That could be an issue.
I don't
No.
think so.
No, that's not old. I
What's that?
have to know that's a little over 4%, though, probably.
Probably.
Well, that's up to Joe if she gets that.
Point four for the next one. So we didn't have one of those, but.
Mm-mm.
Utility employees, what about that? Going to 23.
Yeah, 2288 would be the high.
Yeah, so only get 23.
2023.
20 on the low end, 23 on the high.
Okay, part utility employees,
Same.
Same.
yeah, it should match anyway. Okay, part-time seasonal,
1660. What is that now?
16.
Be 1664 would be your 4%.
I could just use 1650.
Yep.
Make it a round number. Have all of it. Is that it?
We just got longevity pay. That's pretty standard for the 75 a year.
Yep.
Mm.
New rates will go into first payroll check written after January 1.
Where's the work at?
On the next page. And where's our billing clerk at? Remember, we had to break them out into 3 ordinances because there's 2 of you on the council now.
Okay, clerk treasurer.
2500.
Billing clerk,
1875.
1875.
That's 1872 is 4%.
1875.
Couldn't get the back anyway. Okay, so which one we adopt? We can adopt.
So I'll read through the 2 that we can adopt, and then the third one will do just to approve the first reading. Okay, 2025-11. Incorporated Town of North Judson, 2026 salary ordinance number 2025-11, effective January 1, 2026. So that one, if you would like to make a motion to adopt, we can.
Make motion to adopt ordinance 2025-11. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
And 2025-13. Incorporated Town of North Judson, 2026 salary ordinance number 2025-13, effective January 1, 2026. For your adoption.
Make motion that we adopt ordinance 2025-13.
I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
And
Okay, so we can put this, I'll put this over in the file, okay? Then?
that sounds good. 2026 salary ordinance number 2025-12, effective January 1, 2026. We can adopt a first reading of that.
Vote that we adopt first reading of town ordinance 2025-12.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's staying. Okay, so now we're moving on to,
Good.
council liaisons, representatives, and other duties.
Yes, so. I'll let Joe speak a bit on the liaisons and that and such. But mainly. The fact that, we've got a full complement for our planning commission. We're still seeking 1 citizen member, and it doesn't have to be of political affiliation. citizen member appointed by the town council. That's, that blank space is, Tina Hiddles. And, we did get a letter of interest from, a member of the public
Yeah, for the park board.
for the fourth, the turning out, individual who's turning out at the end of this year.
Yeah, Scott Pager's seat is terming out at the end of the year. We haven't heard anything from him of any interest to remain. And speaking with the park board a little bit, wasn't a ton of help. But the park board wasn't very enthusiastic with some things. So we've got a letter here. It says, to the town board of North Judson, I write to express my interest in the park board position. I believe my abilities, experience, and 30 years of living in this community make me a suitable candidate for the position. I am a registered Republican. I really look forward to the opportunity to serve our community with great people and ideas. Megan Greer. So I would say we've read it, we can take that under consideration. Obviously, it's not the first of the year yet or after, and then at the next council meeting, we can see if Mr. Pager if he's reached out to us, then obviously we can do interviews. If there's been no interest or he's not reached out, then council can potentially make a decision.
So the term expires on the first January of Monday of first January of Monday, the first Monday of January, sorry. So which coincides with our meeting. So if we wanted to take it up then,
You can make a decision right now.
you absolutely can.
was talking with the park board and kind of just the way things have played out. And
Yeah, so like Joe and I had a 40-minute conversation the other day because there's information that we're not privy to with the park board. So we choose people to go on that park board, but we don't really know the ins and outs.
Just too many things between these offices to,
Yeah, so, but I mean,
absolutely.
in my eye, I like to be democratic when it comes to giving people
Yeah.
opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in my train of thought, when I said, hey, maybe we should talk to both of them. Well, obviously that's just because I don't work in that board to know whether they would want Scott back on that board or they would prefer not to have him back on that board. But again, it's our decision, but we don't really have, let's just say, the ammo in our gun. That's how I describe it to Joe. So Joe has some ammunition in his gun with his interactions with him. And it sounds like Nick has some ammunition, pretty good ammunition in his gun to say, hey, it's not really worked out great. So we appreciate his service, but all parties are ready to move on.
Mhm.
That's just my understanding of gather information.
Absolutely.
I don't know the guy really that well.
Yeah,
The
no.
only thing I know is I remember when we had some issues with the lighting at the pickleball court. You remember that?
there was some issues.
Kim
Yeah.
said that there was some issue with that and he was maybe adjusting that. He wasn't supposed to touch it. Other than that, I don't know about anything other than that. So, but if the port board prefer to move on and we have another viable candidate that wants to get involved, that has fresh ideas, I think we're for that, unless somebody else has something that's,
Yeah, I know. I think my conversations with the park board, didn't always attend to a lot of meetings. Some of the meetings that were attending, really didn't give a lot of feedback, or sometimes when the feedback was given, it wasn't really constructive feedback. It was just things that kind of seemed to derail maybe the park board meeting. So hopefully, maybe a little fresh blood, some other people looking to get involved would kind of spur back a rebirth of the park board of, hey, like what we talked about, we were looking for, a fundraiser a year, let them organize at least one park cleanup. We're doing one, let's let them do one. I don't feel like we have a park board for a reason, and it shouldn't all have to fall on this office now, all the park things. We're happy to facilitate 90% of it. And what we're asking the park board really to do is, a small portion now. Back in the days, Nick had to go up there and unlock bathrooms on the weekend. They were very involved, hands-on.
Yeah.
And we've removed that from them, as we should, because they were an unpaid position. It's asking a lot of a volunteer that's not paid to, hey, you go take out the trash at the park every weekend and you go do this. We brought that under the utilities
never
umbrella.
made sense. We
Yeah,
have full-time
yeah.
employees that can do it.
And years ago, I know it made sense for them because, you had some retirees that really dedicated a lot of time, and that was their passion. But as they've moved off the board, and now that's what, that's the problem when you have someone that's got something as a passion and has all the time in the world, but no one else is doing it. And then when they don't do it, then that's where we have that, it doesn't follow through. So no, I think the way we're doing it now is definitely, it's sustainable for the long haul. And now if we can get the park board back really moving in the right direction with some fresh ideas and doing the few things that we would love to see them do, that would help. We're trying to grow the park and we know they want to grow the park also.
Yeah, I think also in our meetings and in park board meetings, in whatever meetings we have, it's okay to have, different opinions on
Absolutely.
things. But there has to be basis to what you want to do or what you want to, and there has to be validity to it too. If they want to bring up something that, like both ways, it can't just be, willy-nilly and we want to blame somebody for this or that. It
Yeah.
has to be a valid point and things we can work on to improve. We all want to work in the same direction. Doesn't mean Alex and I always think exactly the same, which is good. That's why we all, or me and Linda, or me and Josh, or me and Eric, that it doesn't matter who. We can have those different opinions. The Lord knows Andrew and I have different things every now and then. We give each other looks and we whatever. That's okay, That's part of that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes friction is what makes it a little
Well,
bit.
yeah, because again, my opinion was different before you and I had the conversation and how I thought we should handle this. But after we had the conversation, I understood, better that we make the decision, but at the end of the day, we don't know the inner workings, which makes it difficult for us until we know the inner workings and maybe how the other players on the team are handling this. You know what I mean? We don't really know that. So,
And as we put money into these parks too, it would be nice. And Joe and I talked about going to their meeting. If Joe can't go, I'll go. Host some meetings here. What do you do? Where
you don't, it's great during the season. I get it. You want to enjoy the park
love
because
it.
you're on that. But during the winter months, right here, you've got access. You've got.
I also think there was a point with the park where they wanted to be their own little
Sure.
club, right?
Sure.
There was people on the board that enjoyed them having their own little,
Yeah.
their own little thing, and they did it down there, and they didn't really bother. Like they were they were part of the town. They
Yeah,
their
it
own
was.
thing.
It was.
Yeah.
They were
Well,
part,
I
but they
think
were
we
separate.
kind of, I want to say for lack of a better term, we kind of blew that up because of all the money we put down there and all the attention, and we as a town put into it, that we just haven't put all, the thoughts in from the park board. It's more the whole, everybody's had to buy into it. So, so I think like with the Midfest, having meetings here, that kind of helps with buy-in and like, okay, we're the town's involved.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. If they want to have their meetings here, they should.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the park is under the town of North Judson. For a lot of years, we didn't know what was going on.
No.
I mean,
No.
they ran it as their own separate entity, and now it's back under the umbrella. So
Which is good, I think, because communication is the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't get communication until it was, griping, or it was an issue that could have been talked about 6 months earlier that now would be a non-issue, has suddenly blown up and gotten worse and worse and worse. And it's like, there's no communication there. So I think part of it is, if somebody from that board, you're 4 members on that board, it shouldn't be Nick. That's the only one coming to a meeting once in a while.
No, I said that. I said that they
Many
should
times.
send one person to a meeting once a month.
Yeah.
Each of them come to 4 meetings a year, entire year.
Get them involved a little bit.
Yeah. We get to know them, they get to know us, and instead of just hearing chit chat about what was said in a meeting that has no relevancy to any transactions, reports, appropriations, whatever, it's more clear cut communication that benefits everybody.
I mean, obviously, we had a multi-million-dollar project, and there was going to be something done slap dead down in the middle of the doorway, but yet A did not, converse with B.
Yeah.
So supposedly B never knew about this whole thing. But
Yeah.
That can't happen.
No.
That's impossible.
No.
How that gets
Played out. Yeah.
That was just
Cost us 20-some thousand.
that was brutal, and we lost 2 people off the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
We didn't have any communication as before you guys came here, but that was a big time there. That's when things weren't working. It's kind of like we had all these hands that had all their own directions they were going.
Yeah.
Like
It was a Hydra. It was what it was. Yeah.
okay, so we want to make a motion on that for park board. We ready for that?
As of January,
going,
as of the 1st January.
Yeah,
and
I would do that.
Sure.
I'll make a motion to appoint Megan Bear to the park board starting January 2026.
Second that.
All in favor?
All right, I will let her know, and Get her added into the
Sheet here.
text chain and.
Yep, and our,
Okay, so.
Well, no, I just, the 2025 BZA member
yes,
there.
yes.
So is there anybody from the plan commission that can come down and fill that or not? It has to be somebody separate.
I would say separate because we've got our distinct two members from otherwise I think, yeah, I would,
I mean, because there's some crossover there.
yep,
I guess.
Yep.
Crossover.
yep.
Okay.
Um,
It does it have to be any political affiliation or
any,
any?
yep, just a citizen member.
Wide open.
Yep, yep. I know it's gotta be somebody.
Yeah.
No way there's not, but if we could get it filled by, and this is the thing about the BZA of, so we've heard back from like the 12th, the hearing on the 12th for that corner Kearns lot. Like if we've got you, Jerry and John still be there, we've got a majority, they can make they can then make a recommendation to the council for the meeting on the 19th.
Right.
But if we had, one more person, then we may have to wait for the 4 to get together. So in some cases it serves us, in others and that's only if Isaiah is not available. But having 7 members, gives us a lot more opportunity on the planning commission we have to reach out to more people, but we also have, we have 7 chances that they'll have this day available versus 5, so it could be a little hectic. Yeah, if we could get a 5th person on there by, end of January, that'd be great. I think we can carry out the business of the BZA variances requests that we've got, the 2. And then, so the council can expect on the meeting of the 5th to have 2 recommendations, one from the planning commission and one from the BZA on a BZA variance from development standards at 523 Lane. And then the planning commission is the spot zoning of the property we annexed back in 2024. So just be aware those will be on the docket for the meeting on Monday. And then we have one other Kearns Wapple variance request, special use variance that we'll be hearing on the 19th because we've got that public hearing scheduled for the 12th for the BZA. And then whatever their recommendation is, we'll bring it formally to the council on the 19th. But yeah, 1 member we need there. I also have not to jump ahead, but I've got the representative from the council for Kirksey in your packet there.
Who
And
did it this year?
I get
Joe.
Very good.
And if bless his heart,
Meetings?
virtual.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, neither same here. Same here.
Manage it out.
Yeah. Yep.
Dodged that bullet like 9 years.
Funny.
Guess who took the bullet for the police department?
Yeah, you were with Stark County Economic Development too. You did that the last year. That ended our run is what it was. You ended our run in that.
He lost that whole thing.
So we have to have that made by the middle of the month, I think it says on there. So if you want to continue with Joe, that's up to you guys. And the other one
Seems to do
is
a pretty good job.
great job. And I think us working with him on the comp plan makes
Yeah.
it more familiar, his relationship, our relationship with Emily and Edwin still being there. I think there's chances where we can start to work our new comp plan update, where we start to work those projects. We can lean on them for more experience that they included the stuff in that plan to get these things done. Who has an example of how they did this? Having a better relationship with them is always better.
Yeah.
Because that saved us a lot of money there. And the liaisons were the only other part of that one.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sign for this. We're doomed.
If you want a motion up to you guys, yeah.
Let's move forward. That somebody else has somebody better.
I make a motion to appoint Joe Levitt, the town courtesy representative.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks, Joe.
No problem.
Second automatic, but that one. What was the signature pages? I'm not saying. What's this? Oh,
Ability
Joe,
is a
that's
part of it.
my name. I'm sorry.
Rudy was when,
Okay, so,
she was Eric.
where are you going with that next part, Andrew? Because I want to go back to liaison.
That's where I
Yeah.
was going.
Liaisons.
So we don't do police anymore, right? Because we have Joe. We do police, no?
No, no, we did.
We did.
You did say, yeah, you brought him back. Eric was the police liaison.
Okay, that,
I think Linda was the utilities,
why did we decide that? I think we decided that.
because it's still good to have a third
Well,
voice.
because in case there's an issue that they bring to Joe and Joe, has maybe not the same answer, or if they have an issue with Joe, then they have someone else to come to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Almost like the safety board that,
Yeah, exactly. One person to go to as the voice of reason
Mhm.
before.
Yeah, because our council serves as our safety board.
yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Okay, so that's fine.
I'll let you pull that out.
Okay, so who was the?
I'd have to look back at all my stuff.
Eric was
Eric was
that?
police,
Police.
Linda was utilities, and
And
then.
who was utilities?
Linda.
Linda, okay.
And then,
Great.
can't remember who.
I don't remember who fire was.
Alex?
I was in it.
So maybe Josh?
Could have been. I
Could have
have to
been.
look through my notes. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's because Alex only had 2 months under his belt.
Yeah, he
1.5
was just
months,
here.
right?
He wasn't even here a month then, December 2nd.
Right.
Yeah.
Ready to roll.
Thankfully. Yeah.
Alex, are you interested in maybe being a liaison for the fire department?
Sure.
It's not that big of a deal.
Have they given you a tour yet? of
Yeah, I toured with
Todd?
Todd or
Todd.
So what do we think about that? Are you okay to stay on for the? Did you have to work with Kim any? No, I figured not. Okay, and then we'll keep Eric on. That's what he's not here today.
It'll take a lot of phone calls on.
Yeah, I know, right?
A lot, it takes a lot of-
Brutal. You guys have no idea how bad. I think bad, but it was.
Hectic. It was hectic as hell.
The first year was, there was a lot going on, but I will say with Frank and then, finally getting, stabilizing the staff. It's gone a long way. Now we're actually able to start, the police department's able to stop putting the finger in the dam. Keep it from breaking, and actually, all right, we're stable. Now we're starting to move, with the evidence room and things that were, Frank, you heard him talk about ordinances, how they want to attack them. It's like, okay, we can get back to things that are actually helping the town and benefiting the town, as opposed to just kind of doing what we have to do to get by.
When it was Alicia, Marshall, and I guess it would have been Kelly, Frank, somewhere, Ramos. It was like a day. It was literally like a
Railroad.
job.
Railroad.
Railroad.
Yeah.
It was a full time every day. Like you were talking about something like we weren't physically here,
No.
but it was so difficult to not be here and
It
then
wasn't 5-minute phone call.
Right.
and like to have to like give answers and help. But it's not your daily, like every day to like be in the middle of everything. You just only hear in certain it was nothing like we've had experience like.
Oh,
this
and there's
last year.
Kim. So Kelly Ramos out, Kelly in, and Kim being hired all happened within a month and a half. Like utility hiring, all that kind of
I
stuff.
had to go there by the Civic Center and look at the pipes they dug up because they hit one.
Yeah.
Would you sign this, please?
Sign this, please. Yeah. No way.
Yeah, it was
That happened. though.
Yeah.
I mean,
different.
Really?
I expected it. It just was different.
That was when
Hell yeah.
Marshall was gone and
Yeah.
Randy left, and
Yes.
Well, and everybody was
Yes.
like a rudder of the ship kind of because they all thought they were their own.
In the middle of a
That's where
project.
like in my mind, I think, God, we need a town manager. We need a town manager so bad because we need someone that can like be in charge,
Yeah.
and of everything.
Yep.
Excuse me, it was brutal.
Much better place now.
Okay, so we need a motion on those liaisons.
Yes.
Make a motion, we appoint the liaisons for 2026. Eric,
Eric Police,
Eric
Linda
Police,
Utilities,
Eric Police.
Alex Fire.
Linda Utilities and Alex Fire.
All in favor?
staying on his 80.
Okay, what do we got for other
Yep.
duties here, Andrew?
Yeah, those are new ones. ADA and Title VI, Joe, and I have got those covered, so we're good there. So I had year-end billing financials, but like I said, I couldn't print any reports. No, from our additional appropriations, we didn't have any major negatives this year.
$150.
$150 in CCD, which is fantastic.
Pretty good, yeah.
No billing either, because ultimately we've got turning the year over without any year-end bills like we normally do. Sometimes a rush up to the year, and I think that's just proper planning on Joe's departmental side, and the same with the reporting. I'll have W-2s going out in the next week and a half, 2 weeks. We'll have our annual financial report will be what we're working on after rural development reporting, which we have coming up at the same time as W-2s. I'll be working on both. And then the year-end bank reconciliations and all that. I wouldn't mind scheduling we got a lot going on the first meeting of the year always, so I'll wait to the second meeting of the year to schedule a redevelopment commission where we can reorganize that board or reorganize however we stay the same or not. But we'll want to get that on the record for who's council president and all that kind of stuff, or redevelopment commission president, thing with the council. We'll do that the first meeting of the year. Grateful we've covered a lot of these ones though that bog us down during regular meetings. Property and liability insurance. This is the last thing on here. Megan, it's not up to the 10th. We sat down with her a while back and she was putting out some quotes on a couple of portions of it just to see if we could get competitive bids that were a little more cost effective. But we'll be looking at a similar update to last year's policy. I don't expect anything drastic, at least not from our conversations with her.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Same year over year. I don't think there'll of course be a cost of living
Yeah,
adjustment to
there'll be some
everything.
sort of increase.
Yeah, a nominal increase, but I don't see it being too astronomical, but we'll see. That's all I've got for today.
Okay, moving on to additional business. Alex, you have anything for us tonight? No. Morning, I'm sorry. Linda, this morning?
No.
Josh? Eric's not here. I just said about 3 things jotted down here real quick. We got those reviewed. Do we have that scheduled yet?
No.
So we're gonna have to do that at some point.
Yeah, it would
So-
be I know we talked about doing it after the second meeting or the first meeting of the year, second meeting of the year.
I'm okay with people, as long as everybody can be here.
I think maybe we should wait to the second meeting of the year.
That's fine. As long as we can get that scheduled, maybe we can get that scheduled, either the next meeting, the first meeting, we can do it for the second. Or
We could schedule it at the first meeting of the year for after the second meeting.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
And then, I would just urge everyone to take everything in consideration to be able to speak to Joe that night. That isn't just gonna be my thing to sit here and talk. So I expect everyone to have constructive stuff that you may have seen with the town that you want Joe to work on, and the positive side, obviously. Joe does a lot of great things, but I also think we need to offer him feedback for things that you may have saw as well. Everything to do with the town ultimately falls under Joe's umbrella, just like it does ours. So from properties to every department, I mean, so it's a lot. And Joe's done a great job, but again, we have to offer some sort of feedback for him to.
Always looking to improve.
Exactly, we all should be, right? So I don't want to just come in and just be like, you're doing such a great job, thank you so much, let me just move on. Because we're not getting any better then, so we really all need to think about this. And the things throughout the year that we've, worked on, whether it's department issues and this and that, what are some things in your mind that you saw that you'd like to just discuss? It's not gonna be a beat down, it is gonna be maybe something Joe can take away and say, oh, a different perspective, you know what?
Yep.
Yeah, we could think about that a little differently, maybe I should change my style this way or that way. Anything I missed there, Josh? No? Okay, so that, and then I would say that we did do a meeting last year with all of us to kind of talk about what our duties were as a council. Last year, because we had some new people, with Eric being on for 6 or 7 months and then Alex just coming on. I don't know if we need to do that or not. We need to probably think about that. Maybe that's something in February we can do if we need to do it. Just, if everything lines up and everybody's doing their part as far as liaisons and lanes, then maybe we don't need to do that this year. That really was like a first time thing last year, just because we had new people and I'm gonna make sure the expectation was out there and all that. So if we think we need to do that, we can try that.
This reminds me of like team, whatever you call it, build.
Collaboration,
Team
yeah.
build, whatever.
But it was really good last year because,
But that's what I'm saying.
I
Yeah.
remember Alex spoke, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like more, and like we could kind of talk about some of maybe the things that.
It wasn't just seeing what was brand new the first few meetings of his
No,
tenure.
yeah,
Yeah,
'cause that's
for
kind of
sure.
like deer in the headlights when you come.
Oh,
to a couple
absolutely.
meetings, you're like,
Yeah.
okay,
There's
I
no
don't know
way to
what's
know
expected,
anything.
What do I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember all of that. So
Especially with the cemetery stuff coming up this year, communication's gonna be big over the next couple
Yeah.
months for that. Next
So
couple
I'm
months.
not trying to stack and pack a bunch of meetings at the beginning of the year, but
No.
again, I remembered last year and I thought maybe if we could get a half hour before meetings.
We could wait till February because I know Josh and myself and Joe have a lot of planning commission and BZA stuff coming up over the next 2 weeks, basically. So after the 19th, we'll see.
Just to look. Even what?
Is that right?
So that, and then the last thing I have here jotted down was just, we have the Vin Festival thing, we'll have to do the meeting. I don't think we set a meeting with them yet. But I don't know, we can work on that at some point too, where we kind of find out where we're at. Maybe February is great for that as well. Or maybe the end of February is probably best to say, hey, where you're at. You know, we met with them last year, they sat here and we got no movement. If you guys remember that.
Right,
Like,
it was-
it's like Donna forgot everything that we ever talked about in that hour and a half meeting.
Yeah.
It all just was gone. And then someone else came in, I think it was Chris Cutfield, said, hey, now here's the stuff we talked about that meeting. Here's what the town wants. And then it got kind of snowballed. And so yeah, I think that they want to meet with us again. I think they like having our feedback and our, help. So I think that's something, and it can be February. I know Donalac always was like trying to get that permit
Signed right away.
like right away. That was a nervous part, I think, just because they thought, okay, once we have that, we can move forward, which I kind of understand that. But I think if we push that off, till the end of March or early April, they think it'll be just fine. I think that's gonna.
Yeah.
We're not looking to take away the Mid Festival. But we do. want to be able-
That's why they pushed the permit so hard before, because
Yeah.
they were scared,
Yeah.
fearful that it was gonna be taken away. Now it's not going to be taken away. It's
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
So that's just something everybody should be thinking about too. I brought that up a few times now. But I just want to refresh everybody's mind. So if there are things you also saw within that festival, positive and negative, we need to be, last year we had a laundry list of things, hey, we want this stuff changed.
Yeah.
A lot of it got changed, which was a great thing because it showed by all the positive feedback we got. But I'm sure there's also going to be things that we're also going to, this year, think back on. And there's also going to be things from our people like Chad and Eric who are in those meetings that may come to us and say, hey, here's what we still need to push on as a town, I think, and they have some feedback for us as well.
I'm gonna add that to the 4, 5, 7-member boards and representatives. I gotta add Chad to that.
Yeah, we have a council member and a citizen member.
Yeah.
2 of those. So
And
that's all I got, guys. No, Andrew, you guys got anything?
nope.
I do not.
Make motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Very good.